So coordinate plane notes and practice. In mathematics, we use a grid called a coordinate plane to locate points. Let's label the parts of the coordinate plane together. Okay, so review. We had, the x and y axis break up your coordinate plane, right? So our x-axis is this right here. So we're going to label this x-axis. It goes across from left to right. Okay, your y-axis goes up and down, and it's going to be labeled right here. Okay, and I think in 6th grade they really only talk about one thing, but y'all should have talked about all 4 last year because y'all had the 7th grade TEKS last year. Okay, but in 6th grade they focus on quadrant 1, where y'all should have focused on all 4 last year. So this right here, anybody remember what the middle of that is called? It's origin, okay? Origin, and its point is 0, 0. Okay, it's where the x and y axis cross. Okay. Now, I don't know what this is really going to. I'm just going to say that's the coordinate plane. We're going to say coordinate plane. I don't use the grid really. I use the coordinate plane. Okay, so if kind of similar there. Okay, the the x and y axis, break it into 4. Landry, you need to be paying attention and writing this down, bud. Break it into 4 quadrants, okay? So it splits everything. It splits it down the middle, and then it spreads out. So it breaks it into 4 quadrants, starting in the top right hand, which is quadrant 1. Okay, everything in quadrant 1 is positive, positive. So your x is positive and your y is positive, right? Y'all remember that? Okay. So you go counterclockwise to the left. So you move from this space over here, and this is quadrant 2. Remember, they're all in Roman numerals. Okay, so that's quadrant 2. Your x is going to be negative because you're moving to the left, but your y is still positive. So you will have a negative, positive number if it falls into quadrant 2. Okay, once you hit there, you go down, and this is quadrant 3, and this is your negative, negative. So your x is negative because it's to the left, and your y is negative because it's down. Okay, so negative, negative. And our last quadrant right here is quadrant 4. Okay, and it is positive because the x is positive, and then negative for the y quadrant. Okay, so positive, negative. Okay, so finish up. Everybody catch up. Okay, if you move down, it says, and blank is a pair of numbers such as 5, negative 4 used to locate a point in the coordinate plane. So an ordered pair. Okay, is a pair of numbers such as 5, negative 4. Remember always, and we're going to kind of, okay, so it does it right here, so we don't have to do it there. So 5, negative 4, it asks us to label. So your first coordinate is always your x coordinate. Okay? And your second coordinate is always your y coordinate. Okay? How can you remember which coordinate to plot first? Where do you always start?
X, because that's the way the alphabet goes. The origin.
Okay, so there's lots of little rules. Does that make sense? You always start at your origin, and you have to walk before you jump. Does that make sense? Or you have to taxi before you take off. There's all these fun little things. Does that make sense? That you do. So, but you're always going to go left or right first, and then up or down. So how do you remember? You have your little things. You walk before you jump. You taxi before, a plane taxis before it takes off. Does that make sense? Crawl. Okay, that works. Okay, so any of that works. Whatever that keys that in your mind, that's what we're going to do. And then Then it says when naming an ordered pair, moving right or up on a coordinate plane is in the positive direction, moving left or down is in the negative direction. So that's just all review. So we're saying up and right is positive, down and left is negative. So that's just a review for you, okay? So when you're done with this, this is going to go in your notes page. I'm sorry I didn't punch holes in it, but you can punch holes in it in a little bit and get that done, okay?